Comfortably Zoned with the Zigzag Man in Alameda, California, pushing on the doors of life marked pull and fighting the unholy trinity as we go. Big business, organized religion, and government.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Tony D'Angelo's PM Coast to Coast. Now, here's your host, Tony D'Angelo.
And a very good afternoon to all of the stations along the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, near and far. I am Tony D'Angelo. I am the host of Tony D'Angelo's PM Coast to Coast here on the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. And I'm going to have a gentleman on in a moment who most of you are familiar with. His name is Arnie Wexler. He is a 50-year counselor in problem gambling. He is the author of a book called All Bets Are Off with Steve Jacobson, talking about just the damage that problem gambling can do. And I want to talk to Arnie specifically about the latest move by the New Jersey State Legislature to improve, not to improve, but to approve sports betting. Actually, from what I understand, this had been a unanimous vote by the legislature to the affirmative. And Arnie certainly has some thoughts about this and where he's been on this whole process and where this is all going to go. So I would like to get his impressions very much. So with that, I'm inviting you to sit back, get a cool drink, and we're going to get Arnie up in a second. We got Steve Winwood doing Roll With It, baby. Man, with this legislation, we'll be doing a lot of rolling. We'll be right back to you right after this.
Nothing's really finer than a box of Carolina rice, so nice. Carolina, the extra long grain rice. I come from Carolina, so pardon my drawl. I'm here to mention long grain rice to y'all. It makes rice fancy eating, it's tasty and so nice. For quality and nourishment, it's Carolina rice. Yeah. There's 3 ways to boil rice to make it worthwhile. Pressure cooked Southern and Oriental style. Serve it in a dozen ways. Take my advice. Nothing's economical as Carolina rice. Carolina, the extra long grain rice.
Ladies and gentlemen, along the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, I am back with a gentleman whom you are familiar with. His name, Arnie Wexler. His book is absolutely incredible. All Bets Are Off. And it is a treatise to this man's life in dealing with, helping, and stopping situations of problem gamblers. Arnie wrote the book with Steve Jacobson. I have the book. It's magnificent. I highly recommend that you get it. But where I want to get Arnie's thoughts is on, I believe it was several days ago, New Jersey had approved a full-on blessing for sports gambling, all sports gambling. The legislature, to my understanding, passed this unanimously. And there really is no better man to talk about where all of this is going to go than our good friend Arnie. And Arnie, how are you today?
Good. I'm very good. I'm back in New Jersey. The weather's great today and everything is good.
Yeah, it's a nice day to be in New Jersey, which puts you right in the place that we're talking about. You had mentioned to me about a Gallup poll taken a number of years ago concerning legal and illegal gambling, which might be, at least to my understanding, the root concern of where you feel all of this may be headed. Would you care to elaborate on that?
There were a group of people that would never do anything illegal. They wouldn't bet in the bookmaker. Now you're going to make sports betting legal. They're going to try it. some of them have the genes that make them a compulsive gambler. We're going to get a lot of addiction going on. And the prime example was when I was with the New Jersey Council, we hired Gallup to do a poll. And the poll asked a bunch of questions, and two questions stand out in my mind. Have you ever played illegal numbers? 31% of the, excuse me, I'm saying it wrong. Have you ever gambled on illegal numbers? 31% said yes. Do you play the state lottery? 81% said yes. And that's what you're going to see with the sports betting. You're going to get people into the sports betting that never did it before, never wanted to, and never intended to.
So if I'm going to do chicken scratch math in my head, that would tell me that for every one gambler you have now, you're going to have 3 because it's legal.
Well, I'm not sure what the numbers are going to be, but there's going to be a lot of people looking for help. 2 years from now, it's going to be a situation you won't be able to get a seat in the Gamblers Anonymous meeting in states that are running these new sports betting operations.
Oh, boy. Now, if we go back to your history in New Jersey with the New Jersey Legislature, I understand you've been back dealing with this for some time. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, I fought the casino gambling stuff in 1976. In 1978, they made casinos legal. And since then, we've added internet gambling, poker playing. I mean, they just keep adding more and more stuff just so they can suck more money out of the public. I mean, in those days, there wasn't even casinos in Connecticut.
No. Not until, I'm going to say about 43, 44 years ago when they started with Highlight. And that all kind of ended with the casinos because no one was going to Highlight when they could go to the casino. So Highlight stopped being an attraction.
You would think that the state legislative people would come up with a better way to raise money than to steal it from the people who gamble legally in their state so they can benefit the state government money.
Now, this all kind of goes back to the lotteries, where lotteries were supposed to be for educational purposes only about half a century ago. I don't know what happened with that.
Some states, it's still for education. You know, a classic example is New Jersey. New Jersey was paying for Medicaid bills for people in New Jersey and prescriptions. When they made the lottery money for education, they still did that. But when they took the casino money and it was supposed to go to help the people, they made the people pay for that and they deducted it from the state budget. And that money now the casino money just goes to the state budget. So, you know, there's a lot of shenanigans when it comes to money.
And
in the state of Iowa, they had money that was dedicated to help people. And as the years went by, they sucked more and more money out of that pot. And that's what's been going on in all the states.
And we're probably going to see more still. Now, here I am, and I'm trying. Do I have this right in New Jersey that you are allowed to place a bet at a racetrack if you were 18 years old?
That's correct.
Oh, dear. And
when I was gambling, you had to be 21 to go into a racetrack. I'll give you a prime example of what happened. I was 21 years old, and I was going out with a 17-year-old girl. And I took her to the racetrack, and that was our second date. And she was wearing pigtails, and they wouldn't let her into the racetrack. And my thought was, let me leave her in the car, but I'm not going into the racetrack to gamble. So I was going to leave her in the car, but we ended up going to another window, and they let her in. But that's how sick I was even at that age.
I'm just not getting a good sense with.
Today in New Jersey, actually, you can bring a child into the racetrack. If you're over the age of 18 and you're a parent, you're allowed to bring your kid into the racetrack.
I remember going back about, I'm going to say, over 20 years ago when Connecticut started with the actually the casinos, and there were a lot of parents that wanted to come and gamble all night, and childcare was an issue.
Where are you going to go?
Yeah. Yeah.
He did the same thing. They did the same thing. I think that's what you're going to try to say. They did the same thing in New Jersey. They opened up nurseries in the casinos so the parents can bring the kids and they can stay in the nursery while the parents go in and gamble their money away.
Yeah, it's wow. Now, this was the first concern I had. There's a lot of discussion in college about college athletics and the NCAA and these huge program schools, Michigan, South Carolina, UCLA, Duke, you name it. And these are the teams that make a show, and we see them on television, we see them in tournaments, we see packed arenas, and a lot of the players are running around saying, okay, we want to be paid for what we do because we make our schools, millions upon millions of dollars. And now, if we're going to have gambling on college athletics, which you told me that the NCAA is not crazy about, where's the protection here for, shall we say, underworld influences to approach these kids and say, hey, look, kid, you're not going to go to the pros. You won't even graduate college. Most of them don't. And, we're going to make this very worth your while if you do A, B, C, D, or E. Or am I missing something here?
That story has been going on for the last 50 years or more. You've had that stuff years ago with NYU and I think Columbia and other schools in the 50s. So that's an old story about mob people trying to influence players to shave points. And on and off there's been cases like that. I believe you had it in Massachusetts or New Hampshire a couple of years back, probably 10 years or more. But that stuff has always been going on.
Yeah, and to me, if you're a, how could I put it, if you spend any time growing up in and around New York and watched a Bowery Boys movie on Channel 5, you're well aware of something like this. This is no great revelation. This is what'll happen. It's like...
Well, it's a good chance that could happen. Unfortunately, now you're going to be able to gamble legally on it, so it's a whole different ball game. We're getting a lot more people into this game than we ever had before we made it legal.
Yeah, which I guess if you want to raise revenue, that's...
The hypocrisy is a joke because the newspapers, the only place you could place a legal bet right now is in Las Vegas. And yet, all the newspapers in America are carrying lines and odds for the last 100 years, probably, at least since the 40s or 50s.
Yeah, as long as I can remember.
You would think if they would carry lines, they would also put in there something like, if you were someone has a gambling problem, call a number like I have, 888 last bet. And they're not even doing that, and they haven't done that. From USA Today to every major newspaper has been carrying lines for years. And what do they carry the lines for? And then you got a situation where the NFL, every week, I think on Wednesday or so, they give out the injury list. Now, why do they need to give an injury list to people? Except they're trying to guide the gamblers to gamble on the game. I think if you took the gambling away from the National Football League, you'd have soccer.
Well, you're right. Because it would the dollars would chase something they could gamble on. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. I don't know if you ran into this. I did. And I'm almost sure you did. I understand Joe Torre was in the State House in New York, and he was talking about let's make sure that baseball stays clean. With him was a Major League Baseball envoy who was talking about, and this is really the subject, an integrity tax. In other words, you pay a tax to a professional league so they will have the means and the capital to police the game to make sure the game is clean. I don't know. When I read this, I kind of thought, well, isn't this kind of a form of a protection racket or something? Major League Baseball hasn't been able to police anything, since the Black Sox scandal. And all of a sudden now they're going to come out and they're going to do this and everything's going to be fine. I know you have more detailed thoughts on that than I might. I'd like to get yours.
Well, let me tell you, I personally have counseled, and my wife have counseled NFL players, NBA players, and one hockey player, and we've seen these professional athletes, the baseball player, we've seen the professional athletes over the years. I remember getting a call from the NFL Players Association, from Stacey Robinson when he was alive, and he wanted us to counsel 3 NFL players, and we were talking about how we would do that, and then we got a call back a few weeks later, and Stacey told us the people that were the agents for these players didn't want it known, so they didn't want anybody to help them. I've done 2 seminars, 2-day seminars in Atlanta and 2-day seminars in Denver in the mid-'90s for the NFL. And Marsha Kramer, I believe, from ESPN, wanted to talk to me at one of those events, and after that, they never wanted. They told me I couldn't talk to them, and then they never had me come back. The NBA hired us in 1999. We went to New York and we had meetings with the NBA in the NBA office, and they hired us. They said, we're going to go talk to every team, and you're going to speak to every team. We're going to write questions. In fact, the information is in my book. And you're going to write questions, and every player is going to get the questions. We're going to find out how big the problem is. They were very concerned that a lot of players had a gambling addiction. There was a lot of gambling on the plane as the players were moving from city to city. 2 weeks later, we got a call that said David Stern didn't want to do it. He didn't want the media to find out. So, you got players that are juiced up and get high from the games they're playing, and when they retire, they lose that juice, and some of them are getting into the game.
That's a very good point, and one I didn't consider. In my last question to you, okay, we're going to have this environment now in New Jersey, and I'm sure other states aren't going to sit idly by and, we're the non-gambling state. States typically don't do that. What, if anything, do you think will change the pendulum back on this to where, at least in my estimation, it needs to be, as opposed to liberalizing it, making it, harder to do and being able to help people who have this addiction?
Well, the states that had all this new gambling, the poker, the internet, the fantasy gambling and all that stuff, they all get a piece of the action, and they all throw a little bit of money. Some of them throw a little bit of money to help compulsive gamblers. But the amount of destruction that's destroyed by the gambler and their family and their jobs, and they're stealing from companies to support the gambling addiction, they haven't got enough money to cover that kind of stuff. And what about the human problem where you destroy a family and families lose their houses and can't afford to send kids to college because they gambled the money away, and that kind of stuff. You can't replace that, and we're not going to turn the clock back. If you look at the history, in 1977 they only had gambling in Las Vegas. Now it's probably in 20 or 30 states,
and more to come.
It's rolling bigger and bigger and bigger because the state legislators found an easy way to raise money. They think they don't understand it destroying people's lives.
Well, the man, Arnie Wexler, the book All Bets Are Off, Arnie Wexler and Steve Jacobson. Arnie, I know, again, people will hear this interview and they're going to want to get in touch with you. Where can they do that? And folks, let me tell you, you're not going to find a better, nicer, more understanding guy than Arnie, who's been to hell and back on this gambling issue and can guide you in the right direction. Arnie?
Well, my last bet was April 10th, 1968. So I'm in recovery over 50 years. We have a website, aswexler@aol.com. That's our email, aswexler@aol.com. We have a website, www.aswexler.com. The best way to find me is Google or YouTube. Put in Arnie Wexler, ARNIE-WEXLER. My hotline number is 888-LAST-BET. I'll help anybody that needs help. But the big part is family members need help because it's so hidden and invisible. There's no track marks, there's no dilated pupils, there's no smell. All of a sudden an explosion comes. I'll give you a classic case. I had a lady call me on my hotline about 10 years ago. She said, my husband embezzled $600,000 from an insurance company. I never knew he ever gambled.
Staggering. Absolutely staggering. Well, Arnie, I'll try to end this on a happier note. It looks like a good weather weekend. You have a great weekend. Best to dear Sheila. And I'm sure as things develop, we're going to be talking soon as we go, my friend.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
And thanks for being with us again. Special thanks to our good friend Arnie Wexler for being with us this afternoon, speaking on the New Jersey Legislature's decision to allow casino gambling statewide unanimously. So grateful we can talk to Arnie. Make sure you come back tomorrow. My special guest, Butch Haber, lifelong sports nut and an incredibly fun guy. I can't wait for that. I can't wait for you to come back either. You have a great evening and be safe. Have a lot of fun this weekend. And God bless. Kiss your wife and kids. Tell your best friend you love them. Tomorrow's not promised to you. We'll be talking soon. Good night now.